All right, guys and gals, you're here at the video. You're looking for instrument info. You're in the right place. I just want to take a second and apologize about the first half of this video. It was shot well over a year ago before we did all these installs, and we didn't have these handy dandy microphones, these right here. So it's a little echoey, but it gets better. And the information's there. We unbox them, we install them, we show you them on and in the vehicle. We cover classic instruments, Dakota Digitals, and Intellitronix. So hopefully we can answer any questions you got. You can just ask down in the comments below. And good luck in your purchase. All right, we are back in the shop today. Not really working on any particular project today, but we wanted to show you a few of the options in case you're looking for gauges for your classic or modern ride. Here we have two great examples, the Dakota Digitals and the classic instruments. So what do you need to know before you decide whether to drop your hard-earned money on these, or even the Intellitronix that we have in the square body behind me? There's a few things you need to know, and that's why we come in here to help you make these decisions. So let's look at what these have to offer, what they cost, and what it takes to get these installed. First, let's talk about the classic instruments. This particular package is direct fit for a 66-67 Chevelle. It comes with an instruction booklet that's specifically for the vehicle. In the package, you also get a toolbox decal, a decal for each side of the car if you're so inclined. You get the sender package and the pulse generator package. Basically, a way to make the speedometer work electronically instead of a cable. And you get the fuel sender and oil pressure signal sender that these units require. You also get the wiring harness, which is pretty cool, color-coded factory GM here. The most important thing, I think, 7-year warranty. There's nothing else in the industry that gives you a 7-year warranty on a performance part, so really like that. On the back of the unit, built-in fuel level ohm sender. You have 8 choices for all the popular brands. It comes set up for GM 0 to 90 in this case. There's also a main on-off switch back there. You're going to want to keep that in mind. You don't want to install these and leave the switch off. Then they don't work and now you got to get back under the dash. So keep that in mind. Installation is pretty straightforward as it bolts directly in to the factory location. And once installed, other than having better visibility and better lighting, it's going to function like factory gauges. Overall quality, fit and finish, I mean, it's classic instruments. You really can't go wrong here. Very heavy duty unit. On the website there is a few options. You can get a gray back, a black back, you can get white faces, you can get different color pointers instead of the bright orange. And this will set you back about $1,060 at this time with shipping. One last note of praise on the classic instruments is the box they came in. They came secured in a box, large enough, you know, to protect it in case anything happened. Whereas the Dakota Digitals came from Summit Racing and they came just bubble wrapped in a box. They didn't really have a whole lot of protection, but we'll get into that shortly. Now we have the unit from Dakota Digital. This is the OBS truck, the 88 to 98 complete dash. This is a very heavy duty metal unit that's got all the gauges integral. You'll also notice your push buttons for setup are integral to the unit. It powers through a Cat 5 cable and it has a little options harness here to run these 2 buttons. Very easy installation up at the gauges. So this unit will be different for each individual install. We've put them in square bodies in other vehicles and it always looks a little bit different, but it's always got the same quality. It's very well built. You get a lot of directions with these. It seems like there's too many directions sometimes. Like the directions are here and the directions are here and they're both the same. But this particular setup is the HDX series. It's kind of the more affordable setup. This will set you back about $850 plus shipping and tax. There is a VHX series which has the built-in information center that you can program. You can also program the background colors. In this lower price section of these gauges, you can usually pick between red, white, and red.
Red, white, and blue.
Red, white, and blue. You can also pick different backgrounds, carbon fiber, silver, white, or black. This particular one has the silver background with the blue lighting. We'll show you that once it's all powered up. But in the package, you get the instructions, like I said, you get your cables, And then you get this other big bag of stuff, which basically has the remote unit, which I love because you can capture your instruction manual right here if you lose the 4 sets of instructions you get with them. And then everything's clearly labeled. You know exactly where to put every single wire. Main harness out to the speed sensor. You will need to change out the coolant temp sensor and the oil pressure sensor, just like the classic instruments. But everything's here in the kit. Let's open it up and take a look at it. All right, so what's in the bag? You get the full harness to go out to the oil pressure sensor here. The full harness to go out to the water temperature sensor. Just like the other one, you get the harness to run out to the speed sensor on your transmission. You also get a nice assortment of crush washers and adapter couplings to put these in your engine. You get, like I said, an instruction manual with a quick start guide. There's also another quick start guide in here. We're going to leave this sealed, so that's protected until we're ready for the install. You get your Cat 5 cable, which is how the display communicates with the box over here. And then you get your switch harness, which will connect here where it says switch 1 and 2. You'll wire that in there, hooks into the back of there, so you get the functionality of the switches. And then there's a little diode here in case you want to run the charge warning light. You can do that also. So Dakota Digital does give you some stickers, some tribal art stuff if you're into that. You also get a business card. So basically that's what you're getting in your kit. I think they're going to be a great addition to the vehicle, really modernize it, getting rid of those analog weird gauges that the OBS truck started life with. Well guys, I was in there editing this video and I just realized I have another example of Dakota Digitals that I can show you that are in my K5 Blazer. Actually Maggie's, that's why it's under the cover, because it's raining and she always gets the cover because the Blazer leaks. But let's check out these Dakota Digitals. These are going to be a little hard to see off. These are silver faced in the daytime, and then they're the red face gauges. Not my favorite. I wouldn't recommend these. These were in the Blazer. You can see they got about 18,000 miles on them. Kind of hard to see at night. Gauges, you know, square body gauges are small already, but I'm not a huge fan of the red, but that is another example of Dakota Digital's square body style. The third brand of gauges we'd like to talk about in this video is the Intellitronix. We installed these in this square body about a year ago, and they're very easy to read. Let's go ahead and take a look at them real quick, and then we'll get into what you get when you purchase them. You can see when they're off, they're completely blacked out. You have nothing. Once they're powered on, they're very easy to read, very bright. You can see voltage, oil pressure, water temp, fuel. The red light here is because I don't have the parking brake wire hooked up. That would turn on when you engage the parking brake. You also get turn signal indications, brights, all the normal stuff. And you can see there also they dimmed when I turn the headlights on, and then they go back to bright. That's all automatic on these. You don't get to control that.
All right, guys, so the kit comes with your detailed instructions. It also comes with your temperature sending unit, the pressure sending unit, and your universal speedometer sensor. It also comes with the smoked acrylic lenses and of course your digital circuit boards.
Turn the key on and then give the gauges power. They go through their test. Lights test. EFI comes on. That's right. The entire dash has to come out. And that's it. So there's your factory gauge panel. Very simple. So turn it around on the back. You can see every one of these is just a light. Those were the gray wires. You got a turn signal way out on each end. You had a power wire hooked up for the fuel gauge, obviously speedometer cable, and you had one wire going to power. the clock, which, don't forget, we have moved to the console right there. So when you compare this to the original gauges, which are over here, safe and sound, which one do you want to look at? I know which one I want to look at. I'd like to show you guys these cool Dakota Digital OBS gauge panel here. So very clean installation. Unfortunately, the switch wire and the Cat 5 cable have to drop down from through here to wherever we mount the module. That's why they're not tied up nice and neat. The rest of the harness here, you can see all nice and neat put away. We did an add a fuse right here in the fuse box. We'll label that so the client knows what that's for. But let's check these things out. These things are really cool. So, and the key on. We haven't set speed cal yet, obviously. Let's give us some lights. That's pretty cool, right? Set these up so you can see it a little better. You know what? I'm gonna turn the lights off. There we go. Now, it's a much better view of those things, right? So that's with lights on, obviously lights off, lights on. We've got, let's see, we've got 12 volts. We've got a half a tank of gas. I already set that up. Let's go ahead and start the vehicle. Oil pressure, RPM. So that's it. It's very, very straightforward install. We just took the wires out of the factory harness that goes into the back of this gauge panel right there. So really, really neat way to do that, replacing the whole thing like that. Check that out. Dakota Digital is all working like they should. We got a refurbished screen here. We painted all the switches. Put the stereo in, which gave you a storage compartment here. Here we go with the back side of our gauges. We use these Deutsch connectors. Anytime you can bring aircraft parts to your hot rod is a good thing. I buy these kits off Amazon. This happens to be a 12-pin one. They're fully waterproof. You do need the special crimpers and all that, but so this is a floating plastic housing. You can see the wires are just coming through the holes. That's exactly how they want them. And then you've got the program switches hanging down here. So what I do, because sometimes it's hard to see under the dash, I've got it labeled prong side, and I've got these two lines. So when you go to put your connector on, you can see there is two little prongs, one on each corner here. You can imagine being up under the dash trying to plug this up and it won't go. So now, not only is it labeled prong side prongs, you've got 2 lines on that side and 1 line on that side. So you can reach up under the dash, click this together, and not really have to see, you know, what you're doing. You can even do it with one hand. Watch this. There we go. So, see, that's my logic. One thing we need to address is these large splices here. So this is actually 3 separate circuit boards. You have a circuit board here, and then you have a circuit board here, and a circuit board here. So, see, we have 3 separate wiring harnesses. Now the pink in all 3 is your power, so they're all spliced together and going in pin 7 here. The purple is all your dimming. When you turn on your headlight knob, these wires will get a signal and it'll dim down the unit. There's a purple wire in all 3, and then obviously a ground in all 3. So those had to be spliced together to come through on individual wires for our main disconnect. Okay, so at this point, we've finished our service loop, as I like to call it. We use these nice Deutsch connectors. Got our instrument panel here, connector there. So effectively, we'll just plug and play these, and if you've got a problem down the road, you can have your gauges out in your hand while they're plugged up and working. It's kind of hard to see, but you're sitting flush there, sitting flush here. I think they're held in with that screw, and that screw. And then our programming switches are hanging down here. We'll drill them into this panel so they'll be nice and cool right there. So one more thing I wanted to show you guys was this piece of paper right here. You can freeze your TV, take a picture of it, you know, send me a text or an email, I'll get it to you. But this is original cluster connections. It's every year with or without gauges. It also has the 67 to 72 connector, as well as the 73 to 82 connector. This is all your wiring. Like trucks with no gauges, the dark blue is your oil pressure, and it's in pin number 3 right there. So like I said, take a picture of this, zoom in, do what you got to do, get this sheet. This will immensely help you wire up your gauges. All right, well, there you have it. Hope you got something out of that. Hope it answered some questions for you. And like I said earlier, if you got any questions, just ask us down here. I'm pretty regularly on here. I'll check this stuff out. And happy shopping.